cable very quickly at that point. Good afternoon, people. Sorry we're late. I might have had a full pint of juice, and then my laptop might have felt the fury of a full pint of juice.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for this now to stop working, as I happened to not. So basically, right. Long story short, Joe. My little Stream Deck here, the cable got caught on the table, and as I pulled it, it knocked the juice all over the. Can they tell it's wet? They can't tell it's wet.
No,
okay.
it's currently wetter than an otter's pocket at the moment.
It is a bit soggy,
yeah,
isn't it?
I wasn't stuck in a jar of
No,
honey.
no, Joe wasn't stuck in a jar of honey,
No.
or behind cars, or having his 75th pee break of the day. I'm going to keep pressing buttons at the moment to make sure it's leaking. But basically, it's working. But basically, my super expensive laptop for streaming, etc., got juiced, and I was not very
Always
happy.
be juicing.
Always be juicing. I was not very happy about
Have you got
it.
home insurance?
So I was very sad. I'm very sad currently because I'm now worried because I can see little bits of wet inside the laptop, but we couldn't wait any longer. We had to go live.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to take all the keys off later and hope that I've saved it. Anyway, welcome back to Tuesday's Liam and Joe show. The first one in 3 weeks because 2 weeks ago there was a problem with sickness in the house.
Yeah.
Last week there was a problem with BMW drivers fighting with trucks. And so today we're finally back.
Yeah.
And we were almost late because of eating pizza. And then I was like, oh, we should do a show. Should we do a show? Do we not? And then I got punished for choosing to do a show by the gods of fate throwing juice all over my laptop.
Yeah. I was like, we would have been better off not doing a show.
Yeah. This is gonna be very expensive to replace if it goes wrong, which is gonna make me very sad.
It was. It should be all right. I think because the key section's normally protected anyway, isn't it?
I reacted very quickly as well, to be fair. But we'll see. Anyway, today's stream. Right. First of all, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit all those magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit that like button if you like what we do here. Hit that. It's not normally a problem, Joe. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that bell notification icon if you'll be notified every single time we go live or drop a video. We don't normally drop videos, but we did on Sunday. We did the Siege Studio Showcase. You can just check that out if you haven't seen it already, where we showed off the models at the end, but I talked mostly about my experience with Siege. Those guys are incredible. They got in touch already. They were happy with the video, so
nice.
All good there. Otherwise, there's many ways you can support the channel if you want to. You can become members, you can gift members, you can super chat. I won't go into detail because most of you probably already know how that works. But today, what we're going to talk about. Yesterday, they finally dropped the Lions datasheet in full, 9th edition. As far as I'm aware, according to chat, they've also recently just dropped Dante's datasheet, although I couldn't find that on the Warhammer community page at the moment, so I'm not going to go into those details on the off chance we're actually not allowed to talk about it.
Is it like on the news section?
Should we have a quick look?
Have a quick gander.
Have a quick look, because if it's not actually there, I don't want to talk about it, because then...
Not that we know it.
Not that we have any inclination as to what it is at all, obviously. All news and features, all news, Dante. Okay, so
Dante is back.
Yes. So we have rules from the Dante and rules from the Lion. And what I wanted to talk about was whether... What I set as a title for today's stream, JJ, was whether those rules are worthy of their characters or whether they're wildly underwhelming. Now, before we get into it, big thank you, War Master Will. Crack out the Lappy Toppy. That's Lucy's. I'm not taking that one. And thank you, Hungry Bert Sports Bottle Fund.
Who's Bert?
He's hungry.
Oh.
Hungry Bert. Oh. Yeah. I'm very worried about this laptop now. We should just turn the stream up and we'll clean the laptop instead. I'm very close to doing that, chat, right? So just be warned. Cool, so are they worthy or not? So Lionel Johnson, we were given some of his rules previously. They've now dropped his full data sheet for us to download for free to use for whenever that model becomes available. I believe they showcased on Sunday that he's up for pre-order with his retinue on Saturday. So we know some of the stuff already. We know his stat line. Typical Primarchy kind of stat line, right? Typical Gulliman Primarchy kind of stat line. 2-up armour, good leadership, lots of attack. 10 attack space, you know. 10 attack space with shock assault as well as a thing because he's currently...
Currently, yeah.
11 attacks, 9 wounds, toughness 6, strength 6. All that good stuff. 8-inch move, which is pretty cool. He's got a okay combi bolt pistol plasma thing, it seems. Right? He's got a pistol 2 bolt gun that's 2 damage at -1 or a pistol 1 plasma that's strength 8, -4, 2 damage. It's like a mini melter thing.
It's basically the same as what Azrael's currently packing in. He's got kind of really.
Then we've got the fealty sword. So not his lion sword, but fealty, which is +4 to his strength. So strength 10, -5, and 4 damage with his 11 attacks, or he gets to sweep it and it becomes 2 attacks for every attack. So he'd have 22 attacks on the charge at -3/2 damage, which seems okay. Angels of Death, we know. Frostwalk, he can deep strike and he can reroll charges in a turn in which he deep strikes. The Emperor's Shield gives him a 4+ invulnerable save, and every successful 6 to save in melee does a mortal wound back to your opponent to a maximum of 3. Very underwhelming, in my opinion, for a shield that's supposedly the Emperor's Shield. Martial Exemplar means he fights first. Primarch of the Lion, of the First Legion, means that every Dark Angel's core or character within 6 inches can reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. No way he can give anything full rerolls.
Which is interesting.
Which is, because every Primarch currently can do that.
Because Gilliman gives full rerolls, doesn't he, within 6 inches?
Yeah.
But he doesn't give. He doesn't give rerolls of 1 though.
Yeah.
Which I can't.
Well, he does.
Not to wound though. He's not.
He's not Ultramarines. He does.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He gives full rerolls to hit to Ultramarines and rerolls of 1 to wound to Ultramarines. He gives rerolls, hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1 to Imperium. No, hit rolls of 1 to Imperium, not wound rolls of 1. Sorry. Anyway, Lion's got Watch in the Dark, so twice per battle he can deny the Witch with his 2 little watches on his base. And if he's in the army, he's got to be the Warlord. And his Warlord trait allows him to pick any Dark Angels, not core or character, any Dark Angels unit within 9, and they can heroically defeat their character, and they can do a 6-inch heroic when they do that.
Oh, okay? Gilliman does that for free for everyone.
He's got the inner circle keyword.
But it doesn't mean anything.
But it doesn't mean anything because he's a monster, so he doesn't actually get transhuman. So there's no inner circle transhuman there for him either.
Does he give himself the rerolls on his aura?
Well, yeah, because he's a character.
So he gets to reroll hit and wound rolls of 1?
Of 1, because he's Dark Angel's character.
Okay.
He's a Lord of War, as we expect, and he's 320 points. It's quite a lot of points when you consider that Abaddon...
It's only 30 points more.
And straight the Lion.
So the Lion is objectively good and objectively terrible. Because he can go in and straight murder, like, a knight. He can go in and murder a 10-man unit of Terminators. Not Dark Angel ones, but most other Terminators. He murders 10 Chaos Terminators in a oneer, basically, quite well. His biggest weakness is if he meets anyone good. He's like he's like a bully but once he meets a bigger bully, is like, oh no.
There's a couple of ways you can look at his rules, right? So if you look at his rules from a 9th edition perspective, I'd suggest that he's quite toilet. He's not that great, which I'm kind of happy about because I don't want to see 1,500 lions. Oh, the mats are wet. Oh my God, it's very wet here, Joe. I don't want to see 1,500 lions.
Thing is though, like wherever he is on the table, there will be like a circle of death around him.
There's so much water though.
I was like, we could just play DMZ.
Well, you did say that. You did say we should just stream DMZ instead.
Yeah.
You did say that.
Yeah.
And I said,
you would have spilled water over a keyboard.
I said no, because DMZ doesn't make any money, because DMZ isn't monetized, because we still need another 324 subscribers. Nice segue. Thanks for that. Exclamation mark gaming in chat. So you're right. He does get straight fucked by anyone who is good, essentially. Yeah. But I don't want to see 1,500 lions on the table. So in that regards, I'm happy that he won't just be an auto take by everyone now. He won't we're not suddenly going to go, oh look, there's 50 million brand new Dark Angels.
But I suppose you've got to look at what he's attached to. So right, we'll do our maths equation, but we'll show our working out on this. Right, Abaddon. Arguably the best character in the game.
Well, who beats him?
No one.
For point, who beats Abaddon?
Like, Morty can give him a run for his money.
He can.
But it's not a close fight. Like, he has to try hard. Like, Morty's the closest thing to fighting him. I would argue that one-on-one, no one beats Abaddon.
No, right? So point for point, I think he's the best character in the game.
But he is surrounded by a sea of idiots. If you look at the Chaos Army currently, it's terrible. He is a king of trash, basically.
I want to buy an Abaddon and paint him in Wordbearer's colours.
Don't. And then, right, you look at Gilliman. Gilliman is a massive buffing character. Can't really survive on his own. Yep. But he makes the Ultramarines around him, who are meh, very, very good. Like even,
he makes them significantly more efficient.
Even Brom, running Ultramarines the other day, was like, if everyone stands next to Gilliman, I do really, really well.
Weird, that.
Strange, right? You look at Gaz. Gaz is really, really good.
Very good, yeah.
Very, very good. But again, surrounded by chaff. Right?
Gaz is another one who probably gives Abaddon a run for his money.
Only
because they've both got the wound caps.
They've got the wound caps.
The downside that Gaz has got is Abaddon always fights first.
Yeah, Abaddon always fights first, and Abaddon can regain wounds through other sources.
Yeah.
Right, and he can make himself transhuman as well.
Yeah.
Through stratagem. So he still beats out Gaz, but Gaz is still objectively really good.
The thing is with Abaddon, right, is Abaddon outmaneuvers Gaz because he's infantry.
Yeah.
So he can move through ruins. So he outmaneuvers Gaz, and when he gets into combat, Abaddon fights first. And so every occurrence that they get to fight, Abaddon swings first. So he probably strips Gaz's wounds off before Gaz gets to fight back.
Whereas if you look at the current state of Dark Angels, they are the best army in the game, right? So there's no point going, here, have an Abaddon. Oh, have a sacrifice. You know? Like there's no point giving them an Abaddon because they're already top tier. So you give them someone who's in charge, but who isn't an Abaddon that's slightly lower.
Yeah.
Right? Because Abaddon struggles versus Deathwing Terminators.
Well, so I'm going to Deathwing Terminators now. So I know my phone, I don't like it, but I'm going to Deathwing Terminators or Deathwing Knights? What do you want?
Deathwing Terminators.
Deathwing Terminators.
Arguably much better.
So if we look at the Lion being 9 wounds, okay, we would be looking at 3 Deathwing Terminators, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So 3 Deathwing Terminators is only 6 attacks base, but on the charge would be 9 with shock assault. So close to the Lion's number of attacks. They don't hit as hard with weapon skill, ballistic skill 5/5 or strength toughness 4. But what they do have is a 2-up save, and they have permanent transhuman in their hands. So they're more survivable.
And in the combat doctrine, they reroll hits and wounds versus vehicles, characters, and monsters.
But they're less than 100 points, Joe, is my point. And if you then think about that, then that means you get 9 Deathwing Terminators, close to 10 in fact, for the same price as a Lion.
Yeah. And if you put a unit of 10 Terminators with a chaplain behind them...
Well, if you now take... Hits. Well, yeah, exactly. If you take the 10 Terminators with their melee weapons, etc., you're talking about significantly higher number of attacks and damage output. And I don't want him to be... And this is I saw a comment in chat before we got started. The laptop screen's just gone off. That's probably to do with all the juice.
So we can't... Oh, I'm going to make my way slowly over here.
I think the computer over there... This is just showing me chat, Jay, so it's not the end of the world. Oh, no, now we've broke the computer. The computer is broke. The water has got inside. The computer's now broked. I can't see chat.
Can't see chat.
It's all right, chat. It's only an £1,800 laptop that I've just straight fucked with 1 glass of juice.
You've still got some juice left.
I'm going to turn this off and on again in the hope that it works.
Yeah. How do I join the Discord, says Kurz, whilst he says that. Basically, Ed has just done it. Exclamation Discord. Click on the link. In you pop. Right? Yeah, and then chat Apollo, it says, Terminators with a Thunderhammer Storm Shield are even more durable than Lion. Massive. Because his shield is basically a crap version of the Cataphron Destroyer shield from AdMech, and there's no limit to that.
Please don't be broken, laptop. I think it's broken, Jay.
Oh. We'll turn it off. We'll put it in a box of rice.
I don't think that works.
It absorbs all the juice. Thank you, Hungry Bert. He has super chatted for a new laptop fund.
I don't think that's... we'd have to have some significant super chats to cover the cost of this. It was working. It was going so well, Joe.
Oh, Boris says, if it's liquid, you need to turn it off and just leave it off.
It is off.
It'll be fine once it dries out. We'll take all the keys off later. I probably wouldn't close it.
Well, what else am I supposed to do with it, Joe?
Leave it open.
It's fucking dead now. I like this laptop. It's got lots of stuff on it.
It has got lots of stuff on it. And it's the only computer in the house that runs Dawn of War.
It is the only computer that has the most one. That's correct. Yeah.
Do not put it in rice. Just let it dry naturally.
Okay, I'm going to get the stream up on the
But
phone.
the chat is saying, but then you have juice flavoured rice. So.
Where's my channel? Go away. You've hit 50,000. I don't care.
We'll get the hairdryer on it in a bit.
Right, we've got chat up again, Joe, here.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. Breaking me. Right, okay, so if we look at the Lions rules, I've got chat on the phone. I just have to pretend that it's the...
Yeah, it's the laptop.
Yeah. So in terms of Primark, you need to come back up here.
Oh.
I can see chat now. I've got chat.
Okay.
All right. In terms of Primark rules,
I'll find the rules for Dante.
He's like, I don't want them to release a Primark that
just
is
straight broken.
Yeah, I don't want another. I'm going to say it, and I know you hate me for saying this. I don't want another Abaddon. I don't want another character.
I don't think so. Abaddon, I think he should be the top dog, because he is the leader of chaos. He's the leader of all chaos, right? He's juiced. He's been juicing. He's been injecting.
Please don't use that word today.
He's been
I don't want to hear anything more about juice today, quite frankly.
And basically, he's like, he should be a big bad, but it's balanced by the fact that the rest of the army is trash, right?
Yeah.
And I will die on that hill, basically. Right? So the thing is, though, if you release an army, if you've got an army like Dark Angels that just gets another Abaddon, then it's just stupid. So it goes on pre-order this Saturday, which means it's out a week before Warhammer Fest, right? And Games Workshop haven't publicised anything about not being able to, because they'll let you run him
Of course
at Warhammer Fest. And I'm playing the grand tournament. I do not want 9 games of just there'll be 150 players there, and it's just a sea of bone-coloured armies with Lion in. I don't want that, because it's just be horrendous. That is a terrible way to say goodbye to 9th edition. Really, isn't it?
I mean, I think if it wasn't for the fact that Deathwing are so strong, I wouldn't hate seeing everyone running the line and being excited about a new Primark. Yeah. It's just because the Dark Angels on the whole are pretty obnoxious anyway. I mean, I could argue actually that putting the line in a Deathwing list makes it slightly worse overall, because you can take 10 Terminators for the same cost of the line. But let's face it, if they lose 10 Terminators, it's still not a bad army.
The thing is, though, because you only need 1 HQ now, you need 1 HQ, and you could take 6 elites. It's a cool army. You just have the Lion Terminators.
Deathwing Knights.
And he just buffs everyone.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a Lion, because it means you don't need a lieutenant. You don't need a captain. You don't need a chapter master, because the Terminators get +1 to hit if they stand still anyway, or if someone charges them. So they're getting the rerolls regardless.
Yeah. And
he goes, you get to heroically intervene. All that list really needs is a chaplain, right, as a HQ slot, Terminators, and then everyone will just take an apothecary regardless in the elite slot. The Terminator one is a character. Everyone will take the banner with -1 damage. So you need the Lion and 2 characters, maybe 3, and then just Terminators, which is a cool army. I just don't want it to be every army.
No, of course. I just feel like there's something about I don't know how to say this without being slightly controversial, I guess. There's something about the return of a Primark or a character like the Lion that should be incredibly impressive. Now, if we talk simply from a model perspective, it's incredibly impressive. But if we look at the rules, I would go as far as to say that I think his rules are actually quite underwhelming. I don't think they're necessarily worthy of the return. And if you listen to the narrative behind it, this monumental return of the Primark of the Dark Angels, because everything's going fucking wrong and Gulliman's fighting hard and losing, basically, and Angron's just turned up. Like, they say, the only one that can stand up to Angron is the Lion. I mean, I think Angron straight fucks him.
Angron smashes him. A sermon beats him. In fact, he can't beat a sermon.
Well,
he can't beat any of the Phoenix Lords.
The way that I've been running a sermon lately, with the way I've been rolling, a sermon can't be a guardsman.
He can't. So, the thing is, though, he kills everything else in the game. he's all right versus Magnus, but Magnus beats him because he can't kill Magnus in a round.
Why can't he?
Because Magnus can give himself he's got a 4-up invulnerable save,
Yeah.
and he's got 16 wounds.
Okay, so if we go for mathematical average.
Mathematical averages, he doesn't kill Magnus. If he moves forward.
Mathematical average, right? The lion basically hits him 20 times.
Yeah.
10 times
Yeah.
with rerolls. Okay. Strength 10 against Magnus.
8.
Toughness 7, I think it is.
7, yeah.
So he's wounding on 3s. So he's going to wound out of those 10 times. He's going to wound like 7 times. Why has that just turned itself on now?
The lights are flashing and everything. It's having a right party.
Off again. Off again.
So he doesn't. So basically, if Magnus is still alive, because Magnus will fight back and hurt him. There's water coming out of the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There's a puddle on the tray.
This is a problem, Joe.
So he doesn't kill Magnus, right? Magnus fights back, does a couple wounds to him, and then in Magnus's turn, Magnus goes more wounds, dead.
So anyway, so he hits him 10 times. He probably wounds him 7 times out of the 10. Mathematically.
Yeah.
6.6.
Yeah.
Right? He wounds him 7 times out of the 10, 6.6, right?
Yeah.
Magnus then fails 3.5 times.
Mm.
So 4 times. Magnus fails. So Magnus at that point has taken
12 damage?
16 if he fails 4.
4, 8, 12, yeah.
If he passes 1 extra, and if he passes 3.5 instead of fails 3.5, he takes 3. He takes 3, 4, 8, 12 damage dead, and Magnus lives. So I think Magnus actually 18 wounds.
Oh.
So either way, he probably lives,
Yeah.
unless you get a mathematical anomaly. So if the lion then wounds him 8 or 9 times, and Magnus fails 5 or 6 of the saves, then the lion does beat him.
Yeah.
But it's not reliable. But I'm okay with that.
Mm.
Like, when you consider Magnus is also 400 something points and the lion's like 320, I'm actually okay with that, with Magnus not beating the lion up front of the lion not being. And it's kind of like, you look at those two when they fight each other now and you go, ooh, who wins that?
Yeah, whereas I think he wins most of the fights if he's got a librarian with null zones stood next to him.
Everyone's going to take the battery out. I can't. There is no removable battery at the bottom. This is a custom built laptop. Go on, carry on.
So if he's got a librarian with null zone and stood next to him, which also affects him, because everyone loses their invulnerable save.
Yeah.
And he swings first. He kills most people. Like, he beats Angron, but again, he doesn't beat Abaddon, which I said is fine with. But the problem is he can't beat a Catan.
Who's the lion?
No.
He can't beat anyone with a wounds capture.
Yeah. I just think he either has the... And also, the Shield of the Emperor is pointless.
Let's talk
So
about Shield of the
basically,
Emperor.
what they should have done, right, is modelled him with an empty hand, right? Don't give him the Shield of the Emperor. Don't give him he can keep the current... If he said to him, he's got a 2-up save, a 4-up invuln, and he does mortal wounds back to you on the roll of a 6 to save. You're like, cool, right?
As his parry.
As his parry ability.
Because he's an expert swordsman.
Yeah. And you're like, that's a cool rule.
Yep.
I can live with that. That's cool. But when you slap Shield of the Emperor on it, you're like, well, what does this do?
It's rubbish.
It's a free Storm Shield on a Terminator is better than the Emperor's Shield.
When I heard that when I heard that he had the Emperor's Shield, I was thinking he has a phase cap, or he has a feel no pain, or he has a max damage he can take, or which is a phase cap, obviously, or he has a reduction in something that makes, or this is what gives him as a monster transhuman like the rest of his Deathwing, right? I'm like, that's an Emperor's Shield. When I looked at it, 4-up invulnerable save, okay, that's fair. Like, I'm okay with it being a 4-up. I mean, Gulliman doesn't have a shield and has a 3+ invulnerable save, but fine, although I think they might have FAQ'd that back to a 4+ now. Anyway, so 4-up invulnerable is pretty common. Okay, I'm not entirely against a 4-up invulnerable save. It's like, he does mortal wounds back to you in melee on a roll of a 6, a modified roll of a 6 to a maximum of 3. Like, cool. So, less potent than Karsakin with a CP, right? Okay. And then it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, so he doesn't get +1 save like a Storm Shield. He doesn't get transhuman like the rest of the Deathwing. He doesn't have a phase cap like Abaddon, Gaz, Catan, as Phoenix Lords. He doesn't get back up like Gulliman. Like, so he's got the Emperor's Shield and he's less durable than all those things
If
we
he
just spoke
goes
about.
into any unit, he kills it.
No, he doesn't. Abaddon goes...
Apart from Abaddon, if you exclude anyone with a wound cap, right?
So a lot of the big name characters then.
Right. He kills them. He kills anything else in the game. Just. Like, he's going to struggle versus a knight. And he should YOLO a knight. Just like, what? We're dead. Thanks for coming.
With lucky saves, he'll struggle against things like fucking Lord Solar, who has a 4-up invo and set halves all damage.
I suppose it's a weird balancing act. Fun fact, if he doesn't have the shield, he doesn't have an Iron Halo. He doesn't get an invulnerable save anyway. But that's by the by, it doesn't mean anything. But he doesn't have an invulnerable save stuff. But I just think he's really, really good versus everything other than the people that he should be good versus.
There is a caveat, right? So I think I think Joe and I kind of on the same train of thought here, that currently his rules are a bit pap for a Primarch of the First Legion, for a Primarch of Dark Angels. His rules just aren't that impressive. And he's got the Emperor's Shield, super cool. The shield looks amazing, the model looks incredible.
Oh, the model is incredible.
Wildly underwhelming. Right? His sword is decent, doesn't ignore feel no pains, doesn't ignore wound caps. But I'm going to add a caveat now, specifically, right? Because of what has happened recently when we look at World Eaters, so it's widely kind of accepted, I think, that World Eaters looks like a bit of a template for how 10th edition codexes are going to work. It's not specifically 10th edition,
I
but
would
it's a template.
imagine out of all the armies going into 10th edition, World Eaters will be the least
change.
Yeah,
and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, we could surmise that potentially the Lions datasheet
will stay very similar.
And perhaps if we see a reduction or removal of things like phase caps, then maybe at that point he's much more terrifying.
He should. You know? If someone puts a Primarch on the table, you should be like, "Oh damn, this is a problem."
So the caveat I'm going to add is because there's lots of stuff people currently comparing 9th and 10th, which is ridiculous, and we shouldn't do that. If we're being indexed, then we are aware that they are completely different editions, and it might just be that the Lions rules are. Maybe what they've done. Here's what I think they might have done, and I'm going to spitball here. Maybe I'm way off target. Maybe they've written his rules for 10th, and they've gone, we want to get him out earlier than 10th, so let's take his rules for 10th, tweak it slightly for 9th, and push out a free data sheet.
Did Gilliman come out in 7th? Because he came out in 8th. He was definitely around in 8th, wasn't he?
I don't remember when he came out, but yes.
Was he there for the Fall of Cadia?
He was present for the Fall of Cadia, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Which was 7th, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was.
So he would have had 7th edition rules as well. So, get him out early.
I'm going to jump into Super Chats because the problem I have now without having the laptop is I won't have them all queued up waiting for me. I have to keep an eye on live chat. And if the live chat moves too quickly, we'll start losing people's Super Chats. So big shout out to Talk, who says new laptop fund. Thank you, William Wills, so Liam can buy a Tommy Tippy mug. I appreciate it. Jack Super Chat €5 with no comment, but you're a legend. I appreciate you. Matt says, if it's that wet, your 4-play game is great. Whole pint of juice, just because this got stuck on something. As I pulled it, it knocks it over. And I always have my juice over that side as well because I don't like it in the middle of the table. Leek says, for the sticky laptop objective. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. James says, laptop fund. All these little donations are incredible, but I quite like it. Imperial Guardsmen with a rag on a pole and Kazakin still lift Abaddon, don't they? Or did they fix the busted banner ignoring caps? Nope, didn't fix the banner, didn't fix the stratagems. Kazakin with a banner on a pole still lift Abaddon with no problems whatsoever.
You still have to be able to target him, though.
You still have to be able to target him, yes, which you can't do because he's a character with less than 10 wounds. Yeah. And the Lion has the same there.
Yeah.
But he still has a very underwhelming defensive profile for someone carrying
has the ability
to
walk through walls, though.
Yeah, well, again, the Lion's a monster. So his retinue, his Blade Guard, or whoever he's with, his Deathwing Terminators, have to go round the walls with him, significantly slowing down an already not that quick army, despite the fact that he can move 8, or he leaves them behind and leaves himself open to be shooting. Well,
I suppose, yeah, because that another thing that slows him down is the fact that everyone around him moves 5 inches and he moves 8.
Yep. So he's got an 8-inch move. So you go, oh, cool, I'll put him with Deathwing Knights because that's the proper Lion's retinue. And then you go, oh, hang on a minute. He moves 8, they move 5. If he moves for 2 turns, his full movement, and they move their full movement, He's left them behind, and he now can be targeted.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Kazakin with the rag on a stick still ruined most people's day, Chris. Yeah. Here's Horace. There's Horace. Everywhere's Horace. Says, pounds for the Tommy Tippy Cup Fund, and I thought it was Joe who had the sticky laptop. Dante's rules are out now too, by the way. Yeah, we'll look at them in just a moment. Talk says, sticky keys, are you sure it's orange juice? We were watching something before, but you know. A Turnham Circus laptop fund. Thanks, man, for the big donor. You're a hero. Charlie Thayer says Sippy Cup Fund. I fucking hate you lot sometimes. People keep saying take the battery out. It's the sealed bottle. I'd have to undo screws to take the battery out of this thing.
I mean, that probably wouldn't be a bad
The reason why I haven't taken the battery out is because I can't at the moment take the battery out. That's why. What a fucking complete retard, people.
But we're going live to spend time with you people.
Yeah. You people. Well, Master Wilson says a Red Corsairs player, Abbey is not in charge. I mean, he is.
He is.
He's the War Master, Will.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're called War Master, Will, but he's the actual War Master, Will.
Yeah, and Huron just does everything Abaddon tells him to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Huron's a little bitch.
Yeah, Huron's he's just a robot.
Chaotic Failure says, forgot it was Tuesday. Long live the Liam and Joe show. Got some good listening while I work. Thanks, man, you're a hero. Nordos gifted a membership. He's our first gift of the day.
Oh, lovely. Gift of the day that keeps on giving.
We're the first gift of the day.
I thought I was the first gift of the day.
You're a gift every day, Joe. It's just, you're such a gift that I've forgotten that you're even a gift.
Oh.
Right? Talk says, should have brought Russ back first instead. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't have been against that either.
I think it would. So
I still think Russ will come back as well, Talk.
They were, because basically there was a lot of a back and forth, wasn't there, about who's coming first, whether it'll be Russ or the Lion. Part of me kind of wish they brought them back in a dual box set together, because there was a time when.
But how would you've got all that really good value blade guard?
There was a time when the Rock was sat above Fenris's moons, blowing it up, because the Changeling was running around the Rock, just pressing buttons and flicking dials.
Yeah,
and it would have made sense that the Lion would have woken up to Lehman Russ just punching him in the face in his sleep.
Well, we don't actually know strictly where Russ is, do we? There's rumours that he's in the warp.
There's rumours that he's on Fenris.
There's rumours that he's in the warp fighting demons. There's rumours that he's in Fenris. There's a theory that he's transcended and he guides wolves like some spiritual leader. Yeah. There's lots of theories about what's going on.
Oh, he's a corn demon prince.
I mean, he could also have fallen to the Canis Helix and he could go full werewolf.
Yeah.
He could be a demon werewolf by now.
Wouldn't it be cool if he came back like a Twilight werewolf? That would really, really bring me joy and really upset.
Why have you got to be like this? Why have you got to be like that? That wouldn't bring anyone joy, Joe.
It would be hilarious.
Why have you got to be like that?
Or he comes back looking like the hamster wolf that the Space Wolves currently have. That the guy with the two swords, the two lightning claws, rides on. What's his name?
Canis Wolfborn?
Yeah. He looks like he's riding a giant hamster.
Why have you got to be like this?
I just think it would be really funny.
Russ is cool.
Or they bring him back like an anime character with like massive eyes and little fake like wolf ears. I think, I'm
sorry, Jack.
I'm sorry. I would die from laughter.
Considering I don't want him to come back as a demon wolfkin Primarch thing. I want him to come back just as normal Lehman Russ, because if you look at Gulliman, right, as a model, he's a bit shit. Okay, after that you look at New Abaddon, incredible model. You look at New Lion, incredible model. I would be very excited to see what they could do with Russ.
For bringing back. So the thing is that the two characters that have come back have both been asleep for a very long time. They're relaxed, you know. They've got their beauty sleep. The Primarchs that haven't come back, they've all been alive, awake for the last 10,000 years.
Some of them aren't alive, right? Perturabo isn't alive.
He's a demon Primarch, so he'd be in the same level.
Perturabo?
Yeah, Perturabo is a demon Primarch now, yeah.
Is he? I thought he was... Okay.
So
Ferrus Manus is dead.
Ferrus Manus got his head chopped off.
Sanguinius
is dead. The Alfarius...
Who knows?
Is dead, isn't dead, not
Mystery.
sure.
Right. I thought Perturabo had been. I thought he was dead.
No, not what's his name? The Night Lords one. Corax.
Corvus.
No, Corax is the Raven Guard one.
Yeah.
He's in the warp.
Is he?
Yeah, because basically what happened during the heresy is that his legion got decimated. So the Emperor was like, "Here, rebuild your legion with all this technology." And the Alpha Legion, like a bunch of Cockney weasels, ran in and put warp stuff into it. So all the new legionnaires they created were all tainted, weird birdmen. And then Corax used them for a while. And then when he started to murder them all, because he was like, I can't really keep you guys around, sorry, they all ran away into the warp, and he's chased after them.
Jagati Khan is alive.
He is in the webway, riding around on his bicyclette.
So he's alive.
He's alive.
Dawn
is sulking somewhere over his pain
is.
glove because he had his hand chopped up, didn't he?
Of course.
So he's off sulking somewhere.
Wasn't Vulcan killed?
So Vulcan is a Petrus, he can't die. So the theory is that Vulcan is either being held by the Necrons, he's wandering around the webway somewhere, or he's in Comarag.
So if he's impetuous and he can't die, it's actual proof that the Emperor is quite stupid, because really he should just made all 20 of his Primarchs impetuous.
No, because each one had to have a different aspect.
So we know Horus is dead.
Yes. Well, 50-50, Abaddon's a clone of Horus.
Conrad Kurz, that's his name.
Kurz is dead. He was killed by an assassin.
That's his name.
He let the assassin kill him because he was really sad that his legion and his planet was... Because he was by Batman and he ruled over his planet through fear, and then when the Emperor turned up and picked up him and his legion, they all went off and did stuff, and then basically the planet he came from just went back to crime. So he just straight murdered everyone on the planet. He blew the planet up, killed everyone. And then he got up sad near the end because after the scouring, because they lost, and B, because like his whole army is just a bunch of degenerates. So the Inquisition sent an assassin to go kill him.
So we know Fulgrim's alive as a demon Primarch.
Yeah, he's a snake.
Who else have we got?
Lorgar? Lorgar is still very much around.
Is he?
Yeah, because at the what's it called? The Dawn of Fire series is mainly about Lorgar doing shenanigans from a distance.
I'm going to be quite controversial. I actually quite like the word bearers, Lorgar and Erebus.
So, Heresy word bearers, I hate them. They're a bunch of Disney villains. They're all like twizzling mustache baddies. They're like, oh, I don't like this. Whereas in the whoever writes the Dawn of Fire series writes them really well, and they're straight terrifying.
Yeah.
And I want to do a word bearer's army for 40k because they're just mean.
With possessed and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, there's been some more coming in.
Yeah. There's a great bit where there's 5 Terminators stood outside a church just murdering intercessors.
Vargard Oberon, welcome to Jarl.
Hello.
Jarl.
What are y'all talking about?
Okay, there he is.
Isn't he a Necron man?
Yes.
Oberon.
Yeah.
He's the one that teleports.
Lewis M, welcome to Skull. Thank you so much, your hero. Breza, thank you for the Jarl box. Love the show. I've been enjoying this. He won the Jarl's only giveaway last month.
What did he get? Which box did he get?
He didn't go for a Combat Patrol box. He went for an Age of Sigmar Vanguard Nighthaunt box instead. So we sent him that. There we go.
Oh.
See, he got his box. Thank you for being a legend. Warmaster Will, oi, that's fighting talk. How do I unsub? You don't. You do what Abaddon tells you.
Once we've got you, you can't leave.
Dave says, I want the Khan to come back from Comara. Oh, God, on a goddamn bike. Yes, for the laptop.
I want him to come back on a bike with a little sidecar. So the current, what's his name? Khan.
Yeah, actually, he can ride around or something.
He can sit in it next to him with those little like old school motorcycle goggles on in the sidecar.
Lewis says, Old Man Odin Russ, thanks for the super chat, man. You're a hero. And then the Silver Crow says there were 21 Primarchs, 15 are alive, 4 are dead. The other, we don't know what happened to the other, and we don't know what happened to the other 2.
Is he saying 21 because
the twins, Alpharis' twins?
Yeah, but also they technically say that Valdor was a Primarch. He was like the tester.
I reckon he's talking about the twins. I reckon he's talking about the
ones from Funhouse.
Twins. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You often do that.
So Primarch-wise, I mean, the ones that are dead. So Horus Sanguinius, Ferrus Manus, and Kurz are dead.
Dead.
So you should just accept that they're dead.
I think they should. If they bring them back, I'll be disappointed. If they want to do Sanguinius, they just make a straight baller version of the Sanguinor because he's the herald of Sanguinius.
So Sanguinius is about the only one that I think narratively actually that's a lie. So narratively they can bring Sanguinius back because he can. The story, the prophecy is that he essentially resurrects and possesses a blood angel, right?
Sanguinor, yeah.
Yeah. So Sanguinius, they could bring him back that way. I guess Horus could return simply because demons are a thing.
There have been clones of Horus already.
Yeah. So I guess they could bring Horus back with some sort of janky narrative because the Chaos Gods might have kept hold of his corpse and at some point they might reanimate him. But I think that they're clutching. They've got so many other cool Primarchs to bring back. And do you need Horus as a Black Legion player if you've got Abaddon? Arguably, no.
I wouldn't want... Because I want them to leave Horus dead because he's part of the narrative journey of Abaddon.
Yes.
Because when he kills the second Horus, that basically begins his journey. To bring him back just kind of ruins that story up for him. Ferrus Manus has come back as a warp fire ghost for like four lines in a book, and then wisps away. So I think he should remain dead. Because let's face it, no one cares about Iron Hands. They are so dull. The only like chapter more dull than Salamanders is Iron Hands.
Why?
They're just like Iron Hands is kind of just weird non-entity Space Marine chapter.
Okay, like Iron Hands and Salamanders.
They've got no... Salamanders are cooler because they're these cool fire people that cover themselves in scales and they're just like, what do you do? We set fire to everything, right? We burn things and that's cool. And we're really nice, cool dudes because we all live amongst the people. Whereas Iron Hands are just miserable.
But I would, as a 40k player now, I am in a place where I would like to see them bring back more and more Primarchs. I didn't think I was, but now there's 5 of them back. Well, you might as well bring the rest back.
Because Lorgar's just himself still. He's not really demon Primarch.
So he's the one that I would be, as a Chaos player, I'd actually arguably be most excited about him.
I want Perturabo.
I want Fulgrim. I want to see Serpentine Fulgrim. That'd be
Perturabo would be an awesome one because he's my favourite Primarch. Loyalist-wise?
Lorgar. If you look at the Forge World Lorgar model, he's kind of underwhelming. Imagine what they could do with him now.
Yeah.
Wow, he would be incredible.
What Loyalist would I want back? I think...
Khan.
You
can't have Khan back.
The Khan would be cool. I'd like to see Korax back.
Russ?
Russ would be cool. Let's be honest. If Russ comes back, it'll be cool, and it'll be a beautiful model, and everyone will love it because it will just be a cool space Viking man. It's not a character you can really do wrong, is it? Like Dawn, just buy a statue and put a sword on it.
Cool Viking man.
Yeah. Whereas I think like some of the other ones coming back, it's just a bit meh. Like Vulcan's a really cool character, but he's just a big dude with a hammer.
Scott says, Dawn to return, opening line, I'm here to lend a hand. Lol. Talk says, this is to put a smile on your face. Thanks for the huge general, man. You're a legend. I appreciate you. Mad Demon is unable to catch you guys live on a regular basis, therefore a little tangent. Let's assume the new starter box contains Tyrannies and Blood Angels. Which units would you both include for each faction?
Well, I would assume, so basically, I would assume what comes in the box set is what we've seen in the trailer.
You get the new terrible looking lieutenant.
I actually reckon...
Probably loads of Reavers.
I reckon the lieutenant is going to be a blister pack. I reckon he's going to be separate. I reckon in the box set, Joe's theory, clip this for when the box comes out and I'm completely right. So much water. But look, the more water on the table, the less in the laptop. Think of it like that.
There's so much water.
And then we'll make some rice juice later.
Oh no.
I reckon it's going to be a Terminator captain, a Terminator librarian, 5 Terminators, the Redemptor Dreadnought with the 2 gun arms, and then a 5 or 10 man unit of Primaris veterans with the combi weapons. I reckon that's what the Space Marine side.
I actually think at the moment that, with the exception of perhaps Termagants, a lot of the Tyranid side is going to be new models.
Yeah, so
I don't feel like this unit that we were showcased yesterday.
The Von Ryan,
Leapers.
The Leapers.
I don't think they're going to be the last new Tyranid models.
So they were set. So basically, the ones fighting in the jungle, minus the lieutenant, is going to be in the box set. Because the Leapers, I reckon they're going to be their own separate unit because they fought the Gravis Apothecary, and he wouldn't fit the theme of the current box set. So I reckon he'll come separately. I reckon you'll get the new big floaty brain bug thing, a Shrike, kind of like a Tyranid Prime Shrike type thing.
Yeah, I think that.
You'll get the Screamer Killer because then he matches up perfectly versus the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
For symmetry.
Yeah.
And then there'll be Hormagaunts, Termagants.
So Dreadnought being the Primaris Redemptus type with the old-fashioned missile and stuff.
Because that's a really easy model to do push fit.
Yeah.
Because it's just a static torso, static arms that twist.
Yeah.
The new Terminator doesn't have a head. The new Dreadnought doesn't have a head. It's just a faceplate. And then, like, having static legs isn't a problem on a model like that. I reckon. I think they said that the Termagant Hormagaunt box is a dual kit.
So Bam says, "Don't forget the Gravis Apothecary." What's up, Bam? I wouldn't. The thing is, I know what you're talking about with themes. I get what you're talking about with theme, but I would not put it past GW to be like, "Hey, here's a whole like Phobos force in a box set plus a Gravis Apothecary." Like, don't forget, White Scar's Christmas box. White Scar's Christmas box, Jay. Here's 3 units of Outriders and a character on foot.
Yeah, but they were separate sprues. I reckon Games Workshop do a Phobos box set with a Gravis Apothecary.
On the same sprue.
It'll be on the same sprue, and they'll charge 90 quid for it.
I don't want to have a downer on it at all, but like I wouldn't put it past them. I just wouldn't. They don't seem to make, like, a lot of us will make choices based on like things that theme together, things that work together, things that are cool. GW just put all this in a box because it's all cool, and to some extent they're not wrong. It's all cool, but I don't think they think, okay, we've got a Phobos Lieutenant, we've got this new Dreadnought, and we've got all these Reavers that we're going to put in the box because we haven't sold a lot over the last 2 editions because they've always been tonk. Screw it, chuck a Gravis Apothecary in. You're talking about the same company that put Vashtor, who deals with vehicles, in a box set with no vehicles. Who buffs vehicles, who came with just a Venom Crawler.
The thing is though, it would have made sense that that dual box set had a Redemptor Dreadnought instead of the Terminators.
Yeah.
But then the joke would have been that they put a Redemptor Dreadnought in every box set they can.
I mean, history.
History is not boded well for them.
However, in terms of new rules, it isn't just the Lion who's coming, and it's not just thanks to Super Chat, by the way. It's not just Primarchs that are getting new models.
I love this model.
As you have seen from that horrific leak, who was also then announced at the same time as the Lion, new Commander Dante, who I also think, by the way, is a stunningly pretty model. And a lot of people said they hated the helmet, they hated the face. I actually quite like it.
I love the whole model apart from the mouth. Right?
Is it not purdy enough for you?
It's not a purdy mouth. No, it's right. The face is supposed to represent like the anger, the rage of Sanguinius, right?
Yeah.
It's just like constipated Sanguinius. But
I like it. I think.
But the whole model as a whole piece, if you take the mouth in as a single thing, meh. But if you take the whole model, stunning.
I'm not a Blood Angels player. I don't think I'll ever be a Blood Angels player. He's the one model from Blood Angels I think I would quite happily build and try and paint because I just think he's really pretty.
The only downside to the new Sanguinius model is that if you put him, it just looks like he's running around with a bunch of Oompa Loompas when he's got Sanguinary Guard next to him.
Yeah.
They
didn't update.
They need new models. So
Dante.
Movement 12.
This came out today, by the way, people. So we're not breaking any rules here.
On
Movement
Warhamster Community.
Yeah.
Weapon skill, Blizzard skill 2 blast.
Expected, yeah.
Strength and toughness 4.
Space Marine.
He's still a Space Marine. 7 wounds now instead of 5.
Oh, so it's quite the bump.
because he's crossed the Rubicon.
Most Rubicon gain +1. He's gained +2. That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. 7 attacks. I think he's currently 5.
Okay.
So 2 extra with shock
Only
assault.
3 less than the Lion.
3 less than Lion, but with shock assault and being in the assault doctrine, that puts him on 9 attacks.
Yeah.
He's hitting on 2s, and he's got +1 to wound.
Because he's a Blood Angel.
Because he's a Blood Angel. Leadership 9 and a 2-up save, which is the same.
Leadership 9 isn't the same. The Lion's leadership 11, but then he's a Primarch.
Yeah, but he's a Primarch.
Although I would have expected Dante to be 10. 9 seems a bit low when you get like Ultramarine Sergeants on 9.
Although technically, through the period of sleepiness, Dante is now older than the Lion.
Yeah.
Considerably older.
Yeah.
Anyway, he comes with the Perdition Pistol, the Axe Mortalis, Frag and Crack Grenades, and you can only include 1 Commander Dante.
Okay, let's not worry about the Frag and Crack Grenades. What's the pistol?
The pistol, range 9, which I think is already better because the last one was 6.
Okay.
She's got an extra 3, what we do with 3 inches.
Yeah,
You know?
I love an extra 3 inches.
Strength 8, so Melter, -4 Melter, D6 +2.
Always D6 +2.
Always D6 +2.
Okay, that's decent.
Right. Each time that an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a line between the closest point of the model, this model's base or hull, and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit and each other unit that a line passes over, excluding those that aren't edgeable.
So it's a beam weapon.
It's a beam weapon.
It's a beam melter pistol. It always has D6 +2 and now it's 9 inches.
Right, I actually think this is what Melter will be in the new rules.
Oh, interesting.
Because
So we think this might also be a 10th edition nod.
yeah, because Votan introduced beam weapons en masse, but they were a bit broken, and then they fixed them to be what his rules currently are.
Okay.
So I reckon that's what will be the special thing about Melter in the new rules.
Which narratively fits.
Because it literally fires a searing line of fire,
Yeah.
basically.
Of molten.
And it's a constant stream. It's not like a tap, 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 tap. It's just laser.
Yeah, no, so narratively it works as a beam.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that would be good. I'd actually be into that. I'd like that quite a lot.
The Axe Mortalis is strength +3, so he's now strength 7.
But
right?
+1 a wound is important.
+1 a wound,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
-3, same as currently is. So in combat doctrine, -4.
Okay.
But it's only 2 damage. Right.
They had this problem with Khan, and they made him 3 damage. Why didn't they? See
We'll go through the rest of his rules, and then I will tell you how you fix this model, his current rules. So, because at the moment it's just a fancy power axe.
It's a shit power axe.
It's better than a normal power axe.
Yeah, but power axe is a dog shit.
All right, he's got the Master Sanguinius. Each time an attack is made against this model, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. So he's -1 to hit all the time, even against shooting.
Because of his mask.
Because of his mask.
Oh, okay.
Right? He's got an Iron Halo, so he's got 4+ invulnerable save, so he's better than
He's
the
got- at
Lion.
this point,
He's better than Lion.
He's always as tough as the Lion, yeah.
Yeah. Lord Regent of the Imperium Nihilus. If your army is battle-forged, and when you select this model to be your warlord, you receive 1 additional command point.
So he gives you an extra command point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
If your army, in your command phase, select 1 friendly Blood Angels core or Blood Angels character unit in the 6 until the start of the Glitz command phase. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So he's got a Chapter Master. Rights of Battle, so he gives anyone in 6 inches that's core, not character, reroll hit rolls of 1.
Yeah.
Hero of the Imperium, once per battle, if this model is selected to use an Epic Deed stratagem, that stratagem costs 0. So he gets fight on death for free, essentially.
I mean, if his axe was 3 damage, I would choose him over the Lion. Rules-wise.
So over a standard Primaris character, so over any current Space Marine Chapter Master character you can build for free, the only thing that makes him different is he's -1 to hit all the time, and he gives you a command point.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's got a beam melter gun.
He's got a beam melter gun, but who gives characters guns?
But the other thing is that beam melter gun is only 9 inches.
So currently, as he is, He rolls into a unit of intercessors. Say he's in this combat doctrine, because the sanguinary priest goes, "You're in combat doctrine now," and he goes over there and he picks up a bunch of intercessors and goes, "Mwah! You're all dead." Just straight murders them. He leaves one alive. Right. He goes into a unit of Terminators, kills 3.
Max.
He goes into a Dreadnought, doesn't kill it. A Spudnaught.
I mean, he's against Dreadnoughts, he's straight useless.
Against the Carnifex,
he's also useless.
Wait.
Aren't Blood Angels like experts at fighting Tyranids?
Yeah. All right. So he goes melter gun, zap, does minimum 3 damage to a Carnifex, but maybe 5, and then he goes in and he chops it off with his axe because he finishes it up with 4 damage. But if he doesn't hurt the Carnifex with his pistol, he can't, unless he rolls perfectly, and the Carnifex doesn't make it any 6-up saves, he then kills it.
And if we assume that perhaps the Carnifex player has seen it come in and puts the Invulnerables on, I mean...
If he runs into a unit of Death Guard Plague Marines, he kills 3.
At best, again, as well.
Right. I would argue between the Lion and Dante, if you gave Dante the ability to ignore damage caps, the damage to axe is not a problem.
Agree. Absolutely.
Because then he can go into a Dreadnought, and it doesn't matter if you're doing... Because damage to power axe, ignoring wound caps, is the same as a damage free at that point. But it's controllable.
Well, no, it's not. No, I mean, it depends on the target.
Because if he goes into a Terminator with damage free, everyone that goes through, he murders a Terminator. Whereas if he's damage 2, every 2 that goes through kills a Terminator. That's fine. They've got heavier armor, multiple targets. Whereas if you're fighting a single large target, like a Dreadnought, like a Carnifex, then you want to be doing as much damage as possible. So
where I want to go with this is I personally believe that both data sheets that have come out with Dante and the Lion, in terms of rules, comparing to 9th edition, are very underwhelming.
So Dante, now, his most comparative character in the game, there's 2. There's 2 characters that he is similar to. And that is...
Words and junk.
Harken Wellclaimer. He has a beam spear, which is flat damage free. That goes 12 inches. And he's got 7 attacks with a lightning claw, which re-rolls to wound. He doesn't get +1 to wound, he gets re-roll wounds. But he gets 6s explode in combat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, their stat profile is the same.
And Harken Wellclaimer is considered pretty toilet.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see him everywhere.
Yeah. The only other person...
You touch my bum.
I'm going to touch your bum. So he compares to this man here. And he is awful.
Thank you, Crisis. We'd love a new law gun model. I posted a picture of my demonic conversion of him in Discord, Hobby General. We'll have a look at that later, man.
Him and Harken have identical stats. Everything about them is exactly the same.
He's toilet.
The only thing that Dante has over this beautiful boy here is
He's a nicer model.
He has a nice model. Although I really like that model. His jump pack's nicer than Dante's, though.
No, I don't. Well, we'd have to wait and see it when we got it in hand, but I don't.
But Dante's looks more like a jump pack because he's got the old school double big fan, whereas he's got 2 little fans and then 2 little feet fans.
So from what I've seen on Warhammer community page, I think Dante's looks nicer, but we'll wait and see until he's in.
Dante looks bigger as well, much bigger. Which have to compare
I'm
them.
torn. Like I said, so
His model is he's one of the first Primaris models that's come out for a while. I've gone, that is beautiful.
So that was Azrael for me.
Yeah.
Azrael was stunning for me.
Because Azrael I really liked and he was really, really good, but I think I was tarnished by the fact that I'd converted my own Azrael about a year or so ago, and they're near on identical. And he looks a lot like the conversions that everyone else has done. Whereas Dante is fresh, and because his whole armor is so different to anything else that they put out for Primaris. It just looks amazing.
So I still think, like, if we go back onto the topic, I still think Dante, Lion, rules, underwhelming. If I'm
Models,
honest.
incredible.
Models, beautiful. Rules, underwhelming. But what I'm doing, because we're currently playing 9th edition, is I'm comparing it directly with 9th edition.
I would probably say that their rules aren't mental on purpose. Because I reckon Games Workshop have probably played it safe because they've released a lot of models, a lot of armies, a lot of units of late that have been monumentally mad.
Here's the other thing as well, right, Joe. They released the Lion and Dante with mental rules which make them insanely good. And in the next week or so, everybody and his dog orders these new models, right? They turn up, they build them, they paint them, they get ready for the tabletop, and a month later, 2 months later, 10th edition drops, and they completely change the rules. At that point, Games Workshop gets slammed for making the model so good that everyone buys it and then nerfing them. So maybe they're playing it safe. I personally don't think that they haven't got the capacity, brain power wise, to actually consider doing that. To be like, let's play it clever here. I think the rules team often just go, oh, it's cool, out. Like, I don't think at all about what they're putting out there. So I don't think that's what they're doing, but it could be like, I think the safer bet is to make the rules worse to start with, and then maybe in 10th edition they'll look a bit stronger than making them stronger to start with, and in 10th edition making them weaker.
I want 10th edition to be like the Chaos Codex. The Chaos Space Marine Codex, right? Your armies, your army units, your baseline everything is just a bit meh, a bit okay. Nothing's ridiculously overpowered. But your characters are terrifying.
You and I are similar. We love Hero Hammer.
But that's cool. That's awesome Hero Hammer. If I go, I love Abaddon. I get to do this now anyway. I love Abaddon. I put him on the table, and everyone flees in terror.
But I don't think we'll ever do this anytime soon because I just don't think there's the audience for it, and I think it's dull to watch. But the Heresy rule set is quite good overall, right? Now, I don't know if it's still the case. I don't know if it's still the same in the new version of Heresy, but I think if I remember right, in the old version of Heresy, you could only take a Primarch when you went over a certain number of points.
So Lord of War, the Primarch's Lord of War, or the same category, but depending on the points of the game, that's when because they take up a percentage.
So I kind of like that concept.
So 2,000 points under,
no Primarchs.
No Primarch. 2,001 points, Primarch.
Okay.
But the average game of Heresy
2,500?
is 2,500, sometimes 3,000, depending on the event. But that's why I really like when you look at these 2,000 point tournaments. Every army on every table is completely different because there's the Rights of War system in Heresy.
Which looks similar to the new attachment system.
It looks very similar to the new 10th edition. Someone goes, I want to take the Primarch's chosen Right of War. Your HQ has to be a Primarch, obviously it has to be 2,000 points. And then you can only take Veteran Squads, Dreadnoughts, Terminators. You can't take anything else. Or you could take a Dreadnought wing, so everything normally has to be Dreadnoughts. Or if you want to take an average one, or you could take a Bombard.
One of the messages I want to try and get across the chat today, though, if I'm honest with you, is I am one of those people, and it sounds to me like Joe is in the very same boat as me here. I am one of those people that personally believes both the Lion and Dante's rules that have been released as data sheets for us to download for free, remember, I personally believe that they're quite underwhelming currently. However, I'm not sad or angry about it. There's a couple of little things I am sad or angry about. That is the axe not being 3 damage on Dante and the Emperor's Shield just being flat shit. Yeah. If you're going to call it, like, if that wasn't called the Emperor's Shield and it was just a shield that did that, you wouldn't question it.
Well, the thing is, though, like, Dante's axe is the Axe Mortalis. There is only one axe.
Yeah.
And they said when they released him, they showed a picture, that his axe has been scaled up for his new body. So they've made his current axe better, right? So the only thing that makes it special is it gives him +2 strength instead of +3. No, it's +2 strength on top of a normal axe.
But the axe is disappointing. If they hadn't called it the Emperor's Shield, just called it a shield, we wouldn't be. But because the Emperor's Shield is disappointing. So what I'm saying is, I am disappointed with the rules overall in terms of I don't think they're that good. That being said, I am applying some logic here, and I'm trying to apply some calm here, and I'm thinking to myself, these rules are relevant for probably 2 months, maybe 3 months. That's as long as they're probably relevant.
We're not saying don't buy them.
No, absolutely not.
Right, but like,
in fact, I would encourage you to buy both because they're beautiful.
Like if you're in a group where no one runs Abaddon, there's either no Orc players or the Orc players don't run Gaz, right? The Lion is king of the tables. I mean, if your group doesn't have other Primarchs and no Gaz, Abaddon,
I still think 320 points is a lot for him. But yeah, okay, I take your point.
But the problem is, if there are other Dark Angels players and he walks into a unit of 10 Deathwing Knights or 10 Deathwing Terminators, he just gets rolled.
Yeah. So I don't think the rules are that impressive. The models are gorgeous and totally worth you buying. From what we've seen so far, again, we'll wait till we see them in hand, because there are occasions where I've seen a model that I didn't like too much, Angron, and I see it in person, I think, oh, actually, that's really nice. There's other occasions I think, oh, it looks quite nice. I see it in person, and actually, I'm not a fan. So we'll wait and see. But I don't feel like these models have been covered from so many angles by the Warhammer community team, etc. That I don't feel like we're going to be disappointed.
There's a painting tutorial on how to do Dante today, so you can see him from all angles.
You just can't see the painter from all angles. So what I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to reserve judgment until 10th edition's out. And when we see where their data sheet settles with 10th edition, then we'll know if we do or don't have rules worthy of a Primarch or rules worthy of the oldest chapter master in existence.
I want to see if there's a way. Chat might be able to answer this question for me, because the book's in my bag in the house. Can you take a single character as an auxiliary detachment in?
I don't see why not.
In what's it called? In Arcs of Omen. Because I would love to take Dante to Warhammer Fest.
I don't think you can actually. No. Big shout out, talk. Bring Russ back in the new Redemptor Dread. I don't see. I mean, narratively that could be cool, but
it would be cool because
if Russ was to ever return, I would want him to have the Lion treatment, and I would want a Russ model, not a Dreadnought with Space Wolf bits on it.
I would want Russ to come back how everyone wanted Russ. I want him to be the same quality as the current plastic Lion, right? Because over the Forger model, because it's just plastic and it's really crisp. I wouldn't have an issue if they just made the exact same pose as his Heresy model, but just gave him a great big bushy beard, right? and a big axe and a big shield, and he's running and he's really angry.
So you literally want a Space Viking?
I just want him to be on a space. What I want him to be, right? Ultimate troll. He comes out of the warp, sees Logan Grimnar, just 300 Spartas him straight off the back of his sled, and then steals his sled.
I would want Russ to come back as a Lion type model, and I would want them to just scale up Bjorn into a Redemptor. That'd be cool.
That would be nice.
Thank you, 40k Medic. Definitely waiting till 10th edition for my judgment. Yeah, so that's exactly what we were just talking about, right? Absolutely. That's exactly what I've just said I'm going to do. Like, at the moment, I think it's underwhelming, but at the moment, I'm just like, we'll have fun for the next couple of months, because it's kind of pointless trying to analyse too much, because 10th edition looks like it's going to be such a big change compared to what we're used to.
Yeah.
I think if we look at Russ in a vacuum, his rules look good, and then you compare them to the Abaddons, etc. of the world, the Gazes, who came out quite some time ago, and you think he looks quite underwhelming. But you compare again, okay. So for comparison, for the rest for the Lions rules, you compare the Lions rules with Angron, and they're actually kind of on par, aren't they? They're
both just mass murdering machines.
Yeah, who are kind of tough, but not ridiculous.
But he has access to mortal wound output.
He does.
So if he does his max attacks and then goes 1 CP, mortal wounds on 6s into the Lion.
Okay.
he just turns his axe sideways and goes.
I mean, even without that, though, like considering Angron D3 plus 3 damage with 13 attacks on the charge, but Angron doesn't fight first. Lion does.
Depends who charges.
It does, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Space Viking from Devon.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about 10th at the moment that I'm actually not getting too upset about the standard or the state of these rules, because I still don't think that they're going to be. I still don't think they're going to be that bad. I think they're going to be good rules. I think, as we've already alluded to, World Eaters is a glance into 10th edition. We think, and I genuinely believe that. And Angron's in the World Eaters Codex, and I still think that's a glance into 10th edition because he's wildly different to Magnus Mortarion Gulliman. And I think that the Lion is, I believe at the moment, and this is without any knowledge at all, that his data sheet is probably aimed more at 10th than it is currently at 9th.
Yeah.
And I think that if that's the case, there is, considering that they've announced repeatedly that 10th edition is going to be less lethal. There's going to be less lethality in 10th edition.
There's a mention that characters in squads, they didn't do a post about it, but they mentioned in Warhammer Community, when a character's in a squad, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see whether he keeps his monster profile. Because historically, in 7th edition backwards, characters used to go into units, but there were no monster characters outside of Hive Tyrants. So interesting to see what they do there. It'll be interesting.
If they, I mean, yeah, because we can also probably assume, we probably assume that things like permanent transhuman for all Deathwing is probably going to go away.
Yeah.
But I can't see them keeping something like that as a mechanic. When I know they're trying to make Space Marines tougher, but they're also reducing lethality. If you reduce lethality and keep that in, then Dark Angels become straight stupid.
I would like them to get rid of -1 damages. Just make them feel no pain.
What about phase caps? So you play Abaddon, right?
Yeah.
Who has a phase cap, who has probably kept him alive more often than you care to imagine.
So I have no issue with phase caps because there are workarounds. You can still kill a character in a turn who's got a phase cap.
Depending on your army. But like running Chaos into Necrons, for instance, I was still able to kill a Catan in a turn. I would go mortal wound you from psychic mortal wound, shoot damage, combat damage, dead. The same applies to Abaddon. The only thing that the Abaddon benefits over every other wound capped model in the game is that he's untargetable. Yeah.
If Abaddon was targetable, like a Catan is, like Gaz is, then that's what makes Abaddon so good.
Yeah.
Is that he's infantry and he can't be targeted.
But so is the Phoenix Lord, but they're only 6 wounds.
They're only 6 wounds.
And this is the problem with Abaddon, because when you say you can work around it, a lot of armies can, some can't. Like, if you look at Tau, unless they take a bomber, they're probably not able to do Abaddon in a turn.
Yeah.
If they can target him.
But Tau have the manoeuvrability to stay away from him.
I mean, depending on the build, of course.
But it depends on the build. But then again, that's why I keep coming back to the fact that the Chaos Army around Abaddon is toilet.
I mean, it is. Talk. Wish the turn Bjorn into Primaris. I think he says wish they would turn Bjorn into Primaris. I wish, like, I'm at a point now, and they won't ever do this in one go because they just flat won't. But I'm at a point now where, for Space Marines at least, I'm like, okay, you've essentially already retconned your narrative of it's a very risky process and often characters die, or often people die when they cross the Rubicon. You've kind of already retconned that because every character so far that's gone for it has suddenly come out the other side perfectly fine.
Well, Dante knew that he would because he's got that prophecy that he's going to die.
So I'm now at the point where I'm like, cool, rip the Band-Aid off. Every named character needs to go Primaris.
Well, what they should have done in 8th edition, right, instead of making up a bunch of random Space Marine characters, just Primarisified the ones that we had. Like I like
big butts in your camera.
Adress.
Oh,
Adress
Hagatone.
Adress Earthshade. He's a great character. He's an amazing character. He is low-key bowler. He is actually very good as a character because he's got a flat damage for Thunderhammer.
Like the Lion.
he actually. Oh, and he reduces damage, so the Lion can't kill him.
Oh, cool.
So and obviously he can get transhuman. So he's a great character, but why don't they just do Vulcan in Primaris?
So this is where I am with it, mate.
Right,
I agree.
They did Shrike. They took an old character that exists and made him Primaris, right? And then they were like, here's Tor Garadon, a character you've never heard of. He's now an Imperial Fist captain when Lysander has literally stood next to him.
Yeah.
Right, and that's a character that needed an update. Iron Hands, like I said, no one cares about. I'm glad they got a character. Who was the other one they made up? Ultramarines didn't get anyone.
They did the old Iron Hands, like chief, like tech marine.
Yeah, that was Iron Hands. Yeah, they gave Iron Hands a character because they didn't have a character to begin with.
So there's a few things I think I would have liked to have seen them do instead. I'm with you. I think they should at this point just primarisify all the characters because there's a ton of them. If you look at Dark Angels, okay, they've now got Azrael and the Lion. You've still got Ezekiel, Belial, Samael, and Asmodai, who are all old school models.
You've got Dante and Mephiston now, but you've still got Lemartes, Astrath, the Grim,
the Sanguinor,
Corbulo,
yeah, your mate. Oh, Gabriel Seth.
Marmite, yeah.
Right, there's
although Gabriel Seth is the same size as a Primaris Marine.
Bjorn, Logan Grimnar, Canis Wolfborn, I think is a fine cast wolf.
I think what I'd like to see, right, is some of them become, like chat have said, a Dreadnought version of themselves. So Forgeworld did this with Carib Cullen from the Red Scorpions. He was a Terminator captain who became a chapter master. He got a new model, and then he died and became a Leviathan Dreadnought. Became Carib Cullen, the Arisen,
cool.
Lord of Chocolate.
But if you've got the old model and he's now retconned, I think you might be a bit upset.
But what they did is they kept all 3 rules available. And then they eventually, and after a while, said you only have Lord of Carib.
Jeremy says, I disagree. I'm not sure I like caps unless the character can be killed in 2 phases. Kind of screws Necron Tau players who mostly damage 2 phases. Yeah, so I actually...
Hang on. Necrons have Catan.
Say the movement phase. It's in the movement phase. So they can do it. Movement phase, shooting phase, melee phase.
Yeah, but he's saying that he doesn't like wound caps.
Yeah, but
Necrons have a wound cap, can have 4 wound cap, well 2 that are currently on the table at once.
Yeah, but Necrons also struggle to deal with wound caps. Any army that's like if you don't take a Catan, you're not getting a wound cap, and then you can't do a wound cap guy who's got 9 wounds and 3. You need to.
But he can do. But Catan can do Catan powers.
So they've alluded to the fact that characters in 10th edition are able to join units. Okay, so. Bad example because not infantry, but character joins infantry, and that's a unit of 5 Terminators. So you've got character plus 15 wounds to get through before you get to your character. At that point, I think you can flat remove phase caps. You don't need them anymore. They don't need to be there anymore. And I would do that. Genuinely, I would do that. And I, as a player playing against someone else, if that was 5 Terminators, and I knew I had to get through 15 wounds of Terminators before I could get to that character, but that I could do it in a turn, that is significantly less frustrating to me than. Oh, you've shot all these guns. Oh, you've done the 3 wounds. They're all wasted. Yeah. I would rather it was that way round. And I think I agree with Jeremy. I don't like face caps. It's okay with like the Eldar Phoenix Lords, and I'm still not comfortable with it. But it's only okay because they only have 6 wounds and their toughness 4.
The thing is though, the reason I like wound caps is that currently the wound caps are only available on named cool characters. There's nothing worse than taking your favourite character in the game, putting him on the table, and then he just gets flattened by a bunch of nobodies. You're like, I want this character to be cool, and I want him to do stuff.
Speaking about epic phase caps, you'll see some tonight, because Joe's running Flesh Terrors into Eldar, I believe. Is that right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Flesh Terrors into Eldar.
Thanks to Mr. Ginger Steve. Have a 3rd Brutalis, hence the reason I've got all the on the table.
So we're gonna see Flesh Terrors into. I almost went Thousand Suns tonight, only because I did the showcase video and they're so fucking pretty. I almost did Thousand Suns, but I'm actually at the moment I'm holding off on playing Thousand Suns until 10th edition in the hope that it becomes simpler. So tonight at 7:30, members only chat. It will be Blood Angels, Flesh Terrors versus Eldar, probably Simhan, I reckon. I'm not sure, but probably Simhan. So tune in for that at 7:30 for us. Thank you so much to everybody who super chatted because of my tragic fucking spilling of juice all over my laptop, which, I mean, the laptop's currently pissing all over the table. I'm not comfortable. This is going to be good. That's an £1,800 laptop that I could really done without breaking right now. But, well, you know, it is what it is. Life happens. But thank you to everybody who donated towards that. Thank you to the 3 or 4 new members today as well. You guys are incredible. Make sure you get yourselves in the Discord server. Come and hang out with us because it's a cool, fun place full of amazing hobbyists and just friendly people as well that are just super nice. So come and hang out with us in Discord. If you haven't already, check in the video description below for all of our links. You've got Element, you've got Siege, and you've got our gaming channel.
Yeah.
And we need 325 of you, and there's 336 people right now to go to that channel and hit subscribe so that we can get to, because we're going to be fine with watch hours. I've had a look at that this morning. We're going to nail that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. What we need you, so everyone who's watching now, go on the link, like and subscribe on the gaming channel. Then take the phone out of your partner's hand, and then go over and like and subscribe it.
Yeah. And then put your laptop on and just leave it running in the background, but don't spill juice all over it.
Yeah.
That's bad. Don't do that.
Juiceless environment.
It's dried up over here.
Oh, that's good.
A bit.
That's what you want.
It smells fresh.
Mm.
But if you could do that, that'd be amazing. Just because we're trying to grow that as well. Every Monday afternoon at the moment at 12:30 actually, Monday afternoons, we stream to the gaming channel.
Yeah.
With
I jokingly said earlier we should sack off the Liam and Joe show and do an extra one on Tuesday.
But the thing is, Joe, as much as I would like to do more Call of Duty streams with you, they're not monetised.
Yeah.
It's just not worth my time. It's just fun right now. Just having fun. And watching Brom fly helicopters.
That's what life is about.
Watching Brom fly around in helicopters.
He's just so bad, though.
However, that's us for the Liam and Joe show today. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for all your comments. If you've got thoughts that we didn't get to, stick it in the video comments after it goes on as an on-demand video, so in about 5-10 minutes, and I'll have a read of them. I typically read all the comments. I don't get to respond to all of them, but I read all the comments, so stick your thoughts below. Thank you so much for supporting us, and I think that's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to click some buttons off that laptop now.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm not touching that till tomorrow. I'm just gonna dry up all the juice and just fuck it. I'm gonna put the laptop on the floor like that, in the corner out the way, pretend it never happened, come in here tomorrow and turn it on and be like, oh, it's all working fine, look at that.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Live the dream.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be okay. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful